The Galactic Diplomatic Center gleamed like a silver teardrop suspended in Earth's orbit, a testament to humanity's newfound place among the stars. Talia Novik smoothed down her midnight blue uniform and tried to calm her racing heart. As Earth's junior ambassador to the Concordat of allied species, she'd prepared for this moment through years of xenolinguistics training and diplomatic simulations. But nothing could truly prepare her for face-to-face negotiations with the Veldari. Ambassador Novik, the automated system announced, the Veldari delegation has docked. Please proceed to reception chamber 3. Talia squared her shoulders, acknowledged. The Veldari were the newest and most reluctant members of the Concordat. Known for their military prowess and territorial expansion, they joined the Interstellar Alliance only after a series of border skirmishes with the technologically superior Assyrian Empire. Humans, as newcomers themselves, had been tasked with mediating resource-sharing agreements, a diplomatic assignment that many seasoned ambassadors had politely declined. The reception chamber door slid open, revealing 3 Veldari officials. Their silver-scaled skin caught the light as they moved, creating an impression of liquid metal in motion. The tallest among them stepped forward, towering over Talia by at least 2 feet. His crest, a ridge of iridescent spines running from forehead to neck, flared slightly, a sign of agitation or perhaps just curiosity. I am Krell, military attaché to Ambassador Savin. His voice was surprisingly melodic despite the translator. Ambassador Savin sends regrets he will not attend these discussions. Talia didn't miss the slight hesitation before the word discussions, nor the implied insult in sending a military officer rather than a diplomatic counterpart. Military attaché Krell, she replied with a formal bow, I welcome you to Earth's diplomatic center. I trust your journey was comfortable. It was adequate, Krell's vertical pupils narrowed as he studied her. You are younger than anticipated. And you are more direct than diplomatic protocols typically allow, Talia countered with a small smile. Perhaps we can both agree to value substance over ceremony. A ripple passed through Krell's crest, surprise, she guessed. The other Veldari exchanged glances. As you wish, Krell said, then let me be direct indeed. My government considers these negotiations a formality. We have no intention of sharing the Callisto mining rights with humans, regardless of Concordat regulations. Talia maintained her diplomatic smile. I see, then allow me to be equally direct. The Callisto deposits contain rare elements essential to both our species. The Concordat has already ruled on joint exploitation rights. We're here to implement that ruling, not debate it. Rulings made by species who have never known true warfare, Krell dismissed with a wave of his four-fingered hand. Your species has barely left its solar system. What could you possibly understand about interstellar resource security? Instead of responding immediately, Talia gestured toward the panoramic viewport showing Earth below. Would you join me for a moment, attaché Krell? Curiosity apparently overcoming his disdain, Krell followed her to the window. His crest settled into a neutral position as he gazed at the blue-green planet. Beautiful, isn't it? Talia said softly. 200 years ago, we nearly destroyed it through resource wars and environmental collapse. Our survival wasn't guaranteed. Many species face extinction-level events, Krell replied, though his tone had lost some of its edge. True, but not all learned from them. Talia turned to face him. The Concordat records indicate that Veldari evolution favored territorial defense and resource accumulation, natural responses to your planet's scarcity cycles. But the galaxy isn't your ancestral territory, attaché. There's enough for everyone if we cooperate. Krell's gaze shifted from Earth to Talia. You've studied our evolutionary history. I've studied all available information about the Veldari, she admitted, just as I assume you've studied humans. Your species is perplexing, Krell said after a pause. Physically unimpressive yet surprisingly resilient, technologically inconsistent, primitive in some areas, unexpectedly advanced in others, and your diplomatic corps employs individuals who speak with unusual frankness. Only when necessary, Talia replied with a genuine smile this time. Would you care for refreshments? We've synthesized nutrition compatible with Veldari biology. The formality of the invitation seemed to reset their interaction. Krell inclined his head. Acceptable. As they moved toward the reception area, Talia noticed Krell's subordinates maintaining a careful distance. She wondered if they were following protocol or reacting to their superior's unexpectedly cordial exchange with a human. Over the synthesized meal, which Krell approached with cautious curiosity, their conversation drifted from formal diplomatic positions to more general topics. The challenges of interspecies communication, the strange similarities that evolution had produced across different worlds, the unexpected beauty of space phenomena. Your understanding of cosmic radiation effects on ship shielding is surprisingly sophisticated, Krell noted after a detailed exchange about interstellar travel. The statement seemed almost reluctantly admiring. I was originally trained in xenophysics before diplomatic service, Talia explained. Understanding the practical challenges of space travel helps me comprehend the stakes in resource negotiations. Krell's crest rippled in what she was beginning to recognize as thoughtfulness, an unusual combination of skills. Perhaps not so unusual for humans, Talia replied. We tend to value interdisciplinary approaches. As their meeting concluded, Krell paused at the doorway. Ambassador Novik, I find myself reconsidering certain assumptions about these negotiations. I'm glad to hear it, Talia said. Perhaps tomorrow we might actually discuss implementation of the mining rights agreement. Perhaps, a hint of something almost like humor flashed in Krell's reptilian eyes, though I make no promises regarding my government's final position. Of course not, that would be premature, Talia agreed diplomatically. Until tomorrow then. After the Veldari delegation departed, Talia released a long breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. First contact, real meaningful contact beyond formal exchanges had been established. It wasn't exactly the romantic stuff of old Earth movies with their improbable human-alien relationships, but it was a start. A foundation of mutual respect upon which actual diplomacy might be built. What she couldn't have known was how deeply that foundation would be tested, or how personal the coming diplomatic crisis would become. 3 months into the negotiations, Talia found herself standing in the diplomatic center's biodome, watching Earth rise over the lunar horizon. The artificial environment, designed to showcase specimens from various member worlds, had become her preferred retreat between sessions. Today, she lingered beside a cluster of phosphorescent Veldari night blooms, their silver-blue glow pulsing gently in the simulated evening. They're more vibrant here than on our homeworld, said a familiar voice behind her. Talia turned to find Krell approaching, his military uniform exchanged for more casual attire, a sign of their evolving relationship from purely professional to something less defined. The botanists adjusted the soil acidity, she explained. Apparently your world's pollution crisis affected even the native flora. Krell's crest rippled with what she now recognized as mild embarrassment, another consequence of prioritizing industrial expansion over ecological balance, a mistake we're still correcting. Their conversations had grown increasingly candid over the past weeks. The formal negotiations remained challenging, marked by Veldari reluctance and human insistence, but these informal exchanges had developed an unexpected honesty. The Council rejected our latest proposal, Talia said, turning back to the night blooms. Your government is insisting on exclusive rights to the Northern Quadrant, which contains 80% of the most valuable deposits. I know, Krell moved beside her close enough that she could feel the natural heat radiating from his scaled skin. Veldari core temperatures ran several degrees higher than human norms. I argued against that position. Talia glanced at him in surprise. You did. The Veldari High Command believes resource hoarding ensures security, Krell said, his gaze fixed on the Earth view. I've come to question that assumption. A comfortable silence settled between them as they watched the slow rotation of Talia's homeworld. Their strange friendship had developed gradually through shared meals, cultural exchanges, and increasingly personal conversations. Krell had been fascinated by Earth literature. Talia had developed a deep appreciation for Veldari harmonic music. They discovered unexpected parallels in their personal histories. Both had defied family expectations to pursue their careers. Both occupied somewhat outsider positions within their respective societies. There's something you should know, Krell finally said, his voice unusually subdued. The military council is growing impatient with diplomatic solutions. There's talk of alternative approaches to securing the Callisto resources. Talia felt her chest tighten. Are you talking about military action against an Concordat-protected location? Not officially, Krell's crest flattened, a sign of distress. But certain factions believe humans are too inexperienced to defend such valuable territory. They see opportunity. That would violate every principle of the alliance your government agreed to join, Talia said, struggling to maintain her diplomatic composure. Principles sometimes yield to perceived necessity, Krell replied, especially when those making decisions have limited understanding of the consequences. Talia studied him carefully. Why are you telling me this? Krell's vertical pupils dilated slightly as he met her gaze. Because I no longer believe Veldari supremacy justifies any means, because I've come to respect your species, because, he hesitated, searching for words, Because I've come to respect you particularly. The admission hung between them, freighted with implications neither was quite ready to address. Is there a way to prevent this? Talia asked softly. Perhaps, Krell turned toward her fully. If we could demonstrate meaningful cooperation, actual mutual benefit from shared resource development, it might change enough minds. We've been trying that for months, Talia pointed out. Through official channels, yes. Krell's crest lifted slightly. But what if we created an unofficial prototype, a small-scale joint operation using my military access and your scientific expertise? Talia blinked, processing the suggestion. You're proposing we essentially bypass both our governments? That's risky. Less risky than the alternative, Krell countered. I have access to a scout vessel. You have connections with Earth's mining engineers. We could establish a proof-of-concept operation in the uncontested southern quadrant. That would technically violate my diplomatic mandate, Talia said, though she was already considering possibilities. It would technically violate my military orders, Krell replied with a flicker of humor. Yet here we are discussing it. In the phosphorescent glow of the night blooms, Talia found herself at a crossroads. Everything in her training warned against unauthorized diplomatic initiatives. Yet something deeper, something beyond professional judgment, urged her to trust this connection that had formed so unexpectedly across species boundaries. This isn't just about mining rights anymore, is it? She asked quietly. Krell's expression softened in the Veldari manner, his crest relaxing into gentle waves. I think we both know it hasn't been for some time. 2 weeks later, Talia stood in the cramped control room of Krell's scout vessel, watching through the viewport as their small team, 3 humans and 4 Veldari, worked together on Callisto's surface. The experimental mining operation had already yielded promising results. The humans' efficient extraction techniques complemented by Veldari processing technology had produced higher quality ore with less waste than either species could have achieved alone. It's working, she said, not bothering to hide her excitement. The yield projections are nearly double the initial estimates. Krell moved beside her, his scaled hand coming to rest tentatively beside hers on the console. More importantly, the cooperation is genuine. My crew reports they're impressed with your team's adaptability. And my engineers can't stop talking about your thermal stabilization methods, Talia replied. An alert chimed softly, and Krell's expression shifted to concern as he checked the display. Patrol vessel approaching. High Command must have noticed my extended absence. Will they board us? Talia asked, suddenly aware of how unauthorized their operation truly was. They'll want to, standard protocol. Krell's crest flattened with decision. I need to transmit our findings immediately before they can interfere. As Krell worked rapidly at the communications array, Talia realized the personal risk he was taking. For a Veldari military officer, this level of independent action bordered on insubordination. Krell, she said softly, this could end your career. He paused only briefly. Some things are worth more than rank or position. The data packet transmitted just as the patrol vessel came into visual range. Krell straightened, his expression composed but his crest betraying nervous anticipation. What happens now? Talia asked. Now we face the consequences together, Krell replied, his hand finally covering hers completely. The gesture, intimate by both human and Veldari standards, conveyed everything that remained unspoken between them. As they waited for the patrol ship to dock, Talia realized that their unofficial diplomacy had created something unprecedented. Not just a model for resource cooperation, but a bridge between fundamentally different worlds. Whatever disciplinary actions awaited them, they had proven that connection was possible across even the most improbable divides. The universal language, it seemed, was neither Veldari nor human, but the courage to reach across differences and recognize something valuable on the other side. The end.